Welcome back as we reflect on last month's Lancaster County real estate market statistics. So we right now are going to be talking about June 2025 activity, starting with sold volume. In June of 2025, we actually saw the highest recorded sold volume since we've been tracking this data. And we started tracking our data in 2020. So over the past 5 years, again, sold volume in June of 2025 is the highest. What's that volume? It's pushing 207 million. We've only seen 2 other months actually hit over 200 million since we started tracking the data. And that was August of 2022 and May of 2023. Now, what could have contributed to that? In May of 2025, we actually saw an influx of listed units. That dropped in June of 2025. We actually went under 600. So a lot of those properties that had hit the market in May finally closed in June. Thus, the increased sold volume. Another contributing factor is that the average sales price increased tremendously. Again, we hit a record high. This is the highest we have seen since we've started recording this data at over $410,000. Again, the average sales price in Lancaster County, record high, over $410,000. The highest, closest that we've seen to that number was actually in December of 2024. And at that point, we were at 384,000. So again, we're seeing a big difference. So this as well is contributing to that higher sold volume. Another factor might be that interest rates went down a little bit. Not too much. We're still at the high sixes, 6.85, but still enough of a tweak that maybe buyers had a little more confidence and were able to have a little more buying power moving into the beginning of summer. Despite a drop in listed units from May to June, we actually saw an increase in pended units. And that's really one of those key indicators that we want to look at because that's showing us activity right now in the market. So the pending home sales index actually increased not only from that month to month, but year over year. And we had a much higher increase in the pending home sales index from June of 2024 to June of 2025. Now, Sam, what about units and inventory? What does that look like in different price points? Well, we started the year off a little rocky in some categories with under a month's worth of inventory. And again, this is some price categories, right? So we're looking at from $1 upwards of 150,000, 150,000, 200, 200, 250, 250 to 350. You get the point. So we're looking at all of these different pricing breakdowns. And again, the beginning of the year, we had a few of those categories that were under a month's worth of inventory. However, month over month, we saw over a month in all categories and over 2 months worth of inventory in some categories, which realistically, we haven't seen that in a while. We had some blips of that last year in a few different months. And that really, we saw the change that provided in the sold volume, the average sales price, because it was mostly in the luxury priced market. However, this month is the first time since the beginning of the year that we're actually seeing one of the categories below a month's worth of inventory. Why is this worth notating? Because the category it's in is that $350 to $450 price range. And this is where we have seen our average sales price in Lancaster County hover over the past few years. So we'll be back next month as we reflect on July 2025 and the market statistics here in Lancaster County. Until then, stay tuned, stay kind, and stay hydrated. It's really hot out there. See you next time.
This has been TDG News.